When I look back over my 15 years in HR and how I grew from unpaid intern all the way up through executive leadership, there was a turning point that I've identified that helped me to break through a barrier that I really had, where I felt a lot of shame and guilt and disappointment over what I knew I did not know, and I had no idea how to get through that point. 2.5 years into my HR journey, I became an HR department of one, which means I was left to the HR department by myself with barely functional knowledge of HR. I knew how to do a little bit of recruiting. I knew a little bit about benefits, and my full-time job was supposed to be payroll. But when my supervisor had to leave the country, not just the area, but the country, and I was there by myself, I knew one or two things could happen. Either I would be replaced by someone who was more capable, more competent, and more experienced, or I could figure it out and make it happen. Between those two options, I thought it was pretty likely that I would be replaced. But the stakes were too high. I had already bought my first car, got a new apartment. I needed this job. And so I wanted to figure out, how can I really make this work? One of the first things that I thought was, I'll go get my MBA. And once I was in that program, I realized, listen, this is teaching me business. This is teaching me just general information about business, but it's not helping me do my day-to-day HR job. So I kept finding resources and this and that to figure out, how can I make this thing work? After some long back and forth with my supervisor, and once I realized it was not as easy as I thought it would be to get them, the company, to invest in my own professional development, I knew that something had to change if I wanted to stick around. My entire career future was at stake. If I didn't make some things shake, I was going to be let go. It was plain and simple. In that moment, like I said, I felt a lot of doubts, self-doubt in my own confidence, because I felt like I did not know enough, and I didn't know enough, if I'm completely honest. And so if you're in a situation right now where you're in a role where you don't quite know what you're going to do next, if you're in HR and whether you're a part of a team or you're working on your own and you're wondering, what do I need to do to get to that next step? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. This situation is where the idea that I first had about controlling what I can't control the things that are happening around me, but what I can control are my inputs and my outputs. So in this video, we're going to talk about the three mindset shifts that I made that you can also make if you're serious about taking your HR career to the very next level. The first thing that I did was accept the fact that nobody could want my HR career success more than me. And it was ironic for me because when I started in HR, I was still in college. And in college, you do that typically right after high school. So typically your teachers, your counselors, all the people around you want you to succeed. They want to help you with resources. They want to make sure that you have everything that you need to be the best student that you can be. In the real world, in the workplace, it's not that way. Whether you do the job or not, and there's no one that's going to be there to hold your hand or make sure you do those things. So when I was in HR department of one, it was taken up to another notch. I had to find ways to invest in myself, or know that I have to invest time and effort and energy into myself, because nobody would want this more than me. I also had to come to terms with the fact that HR is a very high stakes role. So it's not just, if I don't do the job well, then, something bad will happen. No, it's if I don't do the job well, then this family might not have their benefits the right way. Or if I don't do the right things, then this family might not have the life insurance proceeds that their family member needs. Or if I don't do my job well, someone's pay could be messed up. There's so many things. There's so many things that could go wrong if I did not do my job well. So I figured I had to dig deep and realize that, listen, Brittany, nobody else is going to want this more than you. If you're serious about this, then show yourself how serious you are. The second thing that I did was I leaned in and stopped making it seem like I had all the answers. I leaned into the fact that I was a student. So it worked into my favor, the fact that I started in HR directly out of college, even while I was still in college. So I still had that learner mindset. And so I never tried to fake it till I made it. Like, that wasn't a thing for me, because I knew everyone around me knew I didn't have the experience. Everyone around me knew that I had the book knowledge. But we talk about this all the time in my HR career climb trainings that I do every month. Book knowledge is not enough. You've got to do more than just have the degree. You've got to do more than have the certification alone. You've got to find ways to enhance your experiences. So what did I do? I became a student of the job, and not just the HR side, but the business side. So when I talk about ways to get engaged with your organization to find out, how does your organization stay afloat? How does your business make money? How does your organization get and retain clients or customers? I had to become a student of the organization to find my place in the organization. If you're in a role right now and you're trying to fake it until you make it, don't fool yourself. The people who hire you, they know your experience level. They know how you are based on the questions that you ask, based on the answers that you give. You're not fooling anybody. So if nothing else, do what I did. Find ways to ask the right questions, ask the right questions at the right time. And if you don't know something, you don't have to always ask it in the moment, but write things down, research it so that you don't have to ask that same question again. The point here is taking your career into your own hands. And like I always say, growing on purpose. So tell me, where are you in your career right now? Are you an aspiring HR professional? Are you in an HR team? And what goals do you have for yourself? Drop that down in the comments below. The third thing that I realized is that I had to invest in myself. I couldn't wait for anyone else to do it for me. So if I had waited for my supervisor to invest in me for going back to school, to invest in me for getting both of my HR certifications, to invest in me for all of the things that I've learned on the way, I'd still be sitting in that same spot, or I would no longer be where I am right now. So again, I've been in my role for 15 years. I've been in my organization for over 15 years. And while I was once an intern, and then I was a generalist, and then I was an HR department of one, I'm now a VP of HR and administration, leading 3 departments. And that can't happen without me investing in myself. I can't wait for my supervisor to tell me what to do next. I can't wait for my supervisor to invest in me or tell me what the next best thing is for me to learn or grow or do. And so the same is true for you. If you know you want to do something different, you've got to find ways to invest in yourself. If that means you need to dig deep and find the time to invest the energy that it takes to grow something for yourself, then that's what you need to do. If that means you need to dig deep into your pocketbooks, into your pockets, and invest in education and resources and tools and guidance and mentorship, then that's what you need to do. But again, if you have a desire on the inside of you that's telling you that you have more that you can do, the only thing that's holding you back is yourself. You've got to find ways to invest in yourself, because if you don't do it for yourself, how can you expect anyone else to invest for you? Today, for me, it's second nature to invest in myself. I can't count the number of things that I bought, whether it's books. Back then it was DVDs and audiobooks and seminars and courses. I'm starting a new certification in a few months. And so I say all that to say, if you are serious about growing in your HR career, you are in the right place. These are the things that I help HR professionals with, because I know how it feels to feel like you are under the gun, to feel like you are back in a corner, choose your analogy. But I know how it feels to know that you have so much that you're capable of doing, but you don't quite feel like you are prepared or equipped, or that you have the tools to do the great work that you know you can do. So on this channel and on my corner of the internet, you're going to continue to get information that's going to uplift you, that's going to motivate you, that's going to help you to feel empowered to take that action. Because investing in yourself is a scary thing. I'm not diminishing that at all. It is a scary thing. But the question is, what makes that scary? Is it scary because you think you're not going to get a return? Is it scary because you think that you don't have what it takes? You need to work all that through, work all that out. And if you have to talk with someone about it, then do that thing. But I say all that to say, if you know that there's more for you, you have to find the time to invest. And in life, we want to either invest the time or we're going to invest the money. And there's no right or wrong way to do it, but you choose your pace. You choose the rate at which you want to grow. For me, I chose to invest the money because I knew that I had a lot of goals. Well, I talked about in my last HR Career Comm training that I wrote down, in one of my aspirational goals was like an assignment for college. They said, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And at the time I was still an HR intern. So I couldn't really wrap my mind around what 10 years was like, because, 10 years at that point was roughly half of my life. So I couldn't really fathom how short 10 years really is. But in that assignment, I wrote down, I'm going to be a VP of HR and this and that. And at the time, my organization didn't have a VP of HR because my supervisor was a senior HR manager. So today, for me to be not only the VP of HR, but the VP of multiple areas, it's just mind-boggling to me. But when I sit back and think about it, it's not so mind-boggling because I chose for these things to happen. And with God on my side, these things became possible, because faith without works is dead. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to book a call with me. If you are not yet attended our HR Career Comm training, click the link in the description below to get into that workshop. It's a one-night opportunity, absolutely free. And it's for you to understand, from my perspective, what are the areas that you need to prioritize if you're serious about growing your career on purpose. My whole thing is about growing on purpose, being intentional, and not leaving anything to chance. So if I can help you with that in any way, feel free to book a call with me. I would love to serve you.